Hello and welcome to this video. I feel very, very nervous. Like it's been a while since I've sat down and done a chit chat, but I have missed you guys. It's been a minute. Life was really, really busy. Not even say life, like just work got uncharacteristically busy for me. Like it's the busiest I've ever been. So for like a whole 2 months, yeah, things were crazy, but I've kind of gotten my life back. And I honestly wanted to come back with my podcast videos, which I absolutely enjoy, at least for me. Like, you poor guys will be bombarded with videos, but yeah, I'm back. And for this month, I wanted to do some work tales, okay? Since I have been consumed by work, but it won't be like seminars or anything, because, yeah, like, never take me too seriously. Like, that should just go without saying. I just thought we'd have a cute month of chit chat videos like I do. I have a whole playlist of chit chat videos where I just sit and ramble and kiki with you guys, like I always say. Yeah, so the hair videos are still on pause. I had my hair colored um last weekend. So I have a video. You can just check out my previous video on how that went for those who haven't seen me in a minute. And yes, without further ado, we are going to have a month of just hopefully fun videos where we can, yeah, like just come around and talk about our experiences. I am 31 years old for the newbies, in case you just stumbled upon this video. And even for my oldies, I don't think I've ever really talked about work that much. Understandably, like I'm not about to, put my career at risk, but I have been in formal employment. I will be clocking 10 years in October of this year. Like, that's how long I've been working. I do consider myself quite privileged and fortunate to have found a job that early in life. Like, I was 21 when I got my first job, and it's been consistent throughout. Like, I've never missed a month of work. Like, I have been working since I was 21 in the formal or corporate sector. So, yeah, from the title of this video, I think I was going to title it something like, why do we all get hazed? Guys, I think I've had this discussion with my like best friends, and my sisters were also amongst my best friends, and we've kind of laughed. Like, it's funny now, but almost everyone that we know has gone through what felt like a hazing experience with their first job. Like, it's actually crazy. And like why does this happen? Like, why does the universe have to make us suffer with our first jobs? I mean, things get better for some people, like it gets worse, or it just stays the same, like where they're they're in bad environments, but they need the work and or the job, and the money and everything. But it's been cray. And in as much as it is always like, when I say hazing, like it's always, like a very, very toxic situation, something has come out of it. And that's what this video will be about. Because I do realize sometimes I get DMs, and I'm in so much shock. Like I know I'm in my 30s. Like I know, like I'm very aware I'm in my 30s. But then someone would DM me. By the way, like I love it when you guys DM. By the way, not people who DM me. You know what? I won't even get into that. But I do enjoy reading just, like nice, heartwarming DMs or people who just asking for advice. First of all, like I'm always like, oh my gosh, making me feel like an auntie. I am an auntie, but like I'm not like a wise person or anything. But I have realized that a good number of the people who watch my content are a lot younger than me. Like you guys are maybe late teens, early 20s, which is wild because I'm 31. I'm just like, ah. I know I do have people my age who like I've known since I began posting videos in 2017. Like we're now friends on Instagram or even just here on YouTube in the comments. Like I know that people my age or older, but I do have quite a young audience, and I know what it's like. Okay, I remember what it was like being that age and just being very, very uncertain. There's all this pressure around you and the like. And for those of you who choose to go into the corporate world, or even if it's not the corporate world, like if you just choose to work a job with a salary, like it's not always like, for most of us it's always crazy. Let me tell you guys about my first job. I studied accounting, even though I'm a college dropout. I did go back to university at some point, like later on in life, but this is no secret. Like I've talked about that whole experience in the past. I was a college dropout, but fortunately, it wasn't like a university situation. It was a college thing where each year you would get some sort of accreditation. So like even though I was there for 3 years, at least I have the papers for each of those years. So and it was like for a very, very highly like reputable like professional examining board and the like it's like the certification for that is, very, very reputable, and it helped me get a job and keep a job this long because yeah, like it was wild. So it was accounting, and I, applied everywhere. Like it was hell. I went through like, it was just 1 year, but it was 1 year of being unemployed, looking for work. In fact, a year and a half that made me feel like I was so broken. And I know a lot of people are going through that. Some have been waiting for even 2 or 3 years or longer. Like it's hell. Like I know. So I applied to like a whole bunch of places. I got called for an interview to one. It was a really bad interview. I remember feeling like I tanked it. And then I also went for a second interview. This one was like a purely nepotism situation. Like a friend of a friend knew someone. Actually, my friend's sister's friend worked at that organization, and they were looking for interns. Like I was like in the finance department. Like I jumped. It was a very big organization. Went there, you guys. And by the way, let me just say that it's been almost 10 years since this happened. I was only there for 8 months, and I feel like I have reached that statute of limitations where I can talk about it without any repercussions. Okay, don't hop onto YouTube or the internet and talk about your current employers or your very recent current employers in a bad light. Because your current employers, or like if you aren't there anymore, like people will watch these things and they could hold it against you. But anyways, I think 10 years is a good enough time to talk about the experience, and it was okay. Hell is a strong word, but it wasn't a fun experience. It was really toxic, and one person made it toxic. So my direct supervisor was like a lot. They were I don't know, like they were very one, they were a micromanager. Two, they were okay, like they were just very, very toxic and low key bipolar. Like there were days where they would either, and I don't want to say he or she, so I'm just going to stick today. Because now that everything is said and done, like I actually think back to that person and I appreciate them and that experience that I went through, but I'll get to that later. But initially, you guys, like it was a lot. So this particular supervisor was also like low-key bipolar. Like you just didn't know what you're going to get. Some days, like they would, like they would go from really, really happy and supportive and cheerful, and within seconds, like they'll just flip up on you. So like you wouldn't know what type of person you're dealing with that day. The work was not really challenging, but it's just where I know most of us have can relate to this, where you are in an environment where people want you to telepath. Is it telepath? No, telepathy is where you. I don't know. Like I'm forgetting the word. Is telepathy the one where you can really like where you can supposed to read somebody's mind? Or is it the one where you can transport yourself from one place to another without like physically? I don't even know. What's the word? Like my English bundles are depleting. But yes, like we've all been in situations where you're working in an environment where people expect you to read their minds, which is never helpful. Like most of us thrive with structure, like just guide us, mold us, like tell us what, like give us very, very clear directions, and we'll know what to do for the most part. But it was that thing where it's supposed to read minds, and then there'll be such like certain things that had happened that were not your fault or out of your control, and then us like the rest of us, like the underlings, would get blamed for it and be told to fix it. Sometimes we'd have to fix something that wasn't our fault, or it's something that wasn't fixable. Like there was no solution because things had gone so badly, but they would be like, do it, fix it, or you're not going home. Okay, but just like it was, yeah, it wasn't fun. Not really overwork, but like it was quite a toxic environment. So I was an intern. I was like basically just earning transport and lunch allowance. At least it was something, but it got to a point where I had the opportunity to get confirmed. I sat for interviews. I was given the position, but even then, like the job security wasn't there. Like it was a very, very short term contract, and they're like, "We extend it or we'll put you on permanent." Like it just wasn't certain. So I got a job offer elsewhere, and I took it. But initially, The experience there had me physically broken. Like I was getting ill from the stress, even just like it wasn't fun. Too I was just moving around with so much anxiety, you guys, so much anxiety because I didn't know what type of personality I was dealing with regards to my supervisor on that day. But that aside, that aside, even though they were this super micromanager, there was something that I learned from that. And sometimes, and my sister did mention this, if your first job is hell and you feel like you're being broken left, right, and center, like into 1,000 pieces to do things, under duress, like you end up learning a lot. I know it sounds mad, but you end up learning a lot. Now, sometimes like you have to leave. Sometimes you have to leave. Sometimes it's something that you can stick around for. Like if you sometimes you can be like, you know what? It's bad, but not as bad where like I feel like I'm going to have an actual mental breakdown if I stay here. And I think I'll talk about it like other videos. But anyways, for me, I had to leave. I had to leave because another opportunity came up. If another opportunity didn't come up, I would probably have stayed and used that job as a stepping stone to the next thing. And that's what I want to talk about, you guys. Like I know millennials, Gen Z, we're all about, boundaries and don't let anyone walk over you. But guys, most of us aren't in positions of power yet to make the rules or have, far better working environments, and we have to eat. And also, for things to change, we have to stay in these corporate environments. I know it sounds wild, but it's just the way things are. And sorry, like I lost my train of thought for a second there. If another opportunity hadn't come up, I'd probably have stayed, but used that as a stepping stone to either move to a different department with a better supervisor or just found another job. Work experience is invaluable, you guys. Nowadays, like in our parents' time, like our parents' generation, all you needed is a university, diploma, degree, a master's, and you are guaranteed a job. Nowadays, all of us are academically qualified. People want, those people with experience, and that's the thing, like you have to get experience. You have to get experience, unfortunately, if you want to move further. Like you need references. Not only do you need experience, you need references. Like if someone is hiring you, they want to hear, like most people want to know where you're coming from and what you've done, like not just what you've learned in school. So in as much as the hazing at entry level jobs or new jobs is like, you guys, you actually end up learning a lot. It's like free training, I swear. It's like, yeah, it's like free training for the future. And the skills that I learned in that job, you guys. So I went from working that job when I went to the other place that I said, like I went to a whole new company this time, which is a company like I've been with for 9 years. I've worked in different departments, had different supervisors and the like, but of course the work culture here is way better. Like the work culture I found here was way better than where I was coming from that first job. But of course, like even this place isn't perfect, but like it was way better, you guys. Like I could breathe for a bit. And having that supervisor who was on my neck, like yes, she overdid it, but she really broke me and then molded me into somebody that my future supervisors or my current supervisors appreciate. If I didn't go through what I went through with that first supervisor, you guys, I don't think I would have become the person that I am now. I'm a bit scatterbrainy, but she taught me to, I don't know, like manage myself. Of course, she was over me, but because I knew that she was just around the corner, ready to come and stand, and she always said, "Oh, I just said she." Never mind. But yes, they, yeah. You know what? I already said she. Like she'd always come and like stand with her hand on her hip over our desks, like because like I knew that she was coming around anyways. Like I would just force myself to make sure I was always meeting deadlines. Or I was always like ahead of deadlines. I knew how to keep records. I knew how to manage filing. Like it had to be immaculate. I learned these skills. She taught me well under duress, but those were like extremely valuable skills that I learned. She taught me how to work under immense pressure. And I think that's how like I was able to survive later on in life. even when I was meeting things that were challenging, like I already had that background. I'd already been through that, and it molded me into like the person that I am now. And future supervisors like me for that, not knowing that someone else it took someone else to break me first. I'm not saying like everybody has to go through hazing, but honestly, at the end of the day, I appreciated that. I did, and I know somebody, but like not everybody has to suffer. But I'm just saying, if you're going through a situation right now and you're having a tough time, look forward to leaving. Look forward to going to an environment that is better. But while you're there, first of all, like you're there for the money. Let's be real. And the experience. That experience is invaluable. Even if you have a terrible supervisor, you guys, focus on the actual work that you're doing and use that to your advantage in the future. Like you're actually learning something. Like that experience counts for something. Wherever you go in the future, like you will say, I did this, I did that, as opposed to, giving up. But again, like I said, for me, I dipped as soon as an opportunity came by. If something hadn't come up, I'd have probably stayed, but not for long. I would have just stayed for a decent enough time that I could put on my CV or resume and also learn for the sake of my career going forward. And yeah, like that, like that's very valuable, you guys. It really is. Of course, if it's too much, and even if there's no other plan and you have to dip, like just dip. Like if it's getting like physically harmful, or just like so some people do too much, then you can leave and just be home until you find the next thing. But for the most part, if you feel like you can bear it, like if you're on the brink of breaking, but you haven't, but you like you won't really, really like fully break, but you're on the brink of breaking, mentally, like I know it sounds like terrible advice, but if it's your very, very first gig, like it will count for something. It will be worth something on your CV. Like just stick it out and use it as a stepping stone to go to the next stage. Because honestly, you're doing it for money. And for me, I was just like, it was like me sticking around for that job. Even when I was given like a better position and more pay, the money wasn't that much for me to suffer through. I was just like, this is going to be a stepping stone until the next thing. But if there's a lot of money offered, I don't know. I don't know about that. I have had other jobs even later on where the job I went to after that, that's like a whole other story, fam, that I'll talk about in other videos, where I joke about it now that even if someone offered me triple what I make now to go back to that job, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would find alternate solutions because at least I have the privilege to have those options. So yeah, this is just like a quick intro video to this series. I don't know. I'm just testing it out. Let me know what you guys' experiences have been. If you want to open up at all, I know like the comments section aren't, like they aren't that lit on my channel, which is fine. But yeah, anyways, I just thought I could, do this cute work series this month, in the month of July. It's cold, everybody's cozy, we're home. Yeah, we have. I guess people would like to do can have time to listen to podcast videos as you're all snuggled and everything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.